Trade recap 11/26/2025. Today is Wednesday, one day before Thanksgiving. And this is how today went for me, right? So there's a couple of things we want to go over. So I'm going to do top-down analysis. I'm going to break down what I saw and we'll get over it. So on the 4-hour chart / daily, right, there was this buy-side liquidity that I was actually calling since yesterday. If you watch my recap from yesterday, you can see that this is kind of my interest / drawn liquidity. So with that being said, there's a couple of things I want to notice, right? So on the 4-hour chart, there's this 4-hour BISI, and I want to see if that'll help us push price of this buy side liquidity. Now, even though I have a drawn liquidity, I'm not just going to randomly just take a trade that way. I need things to kind of tell me we want to go that way at this time, right? Because we could sell off, like, only, who knows, we could sell off and then hit, this order block right here and then push higher, right? Nothing says we need to go off this 4-hour BISI. So what I'm looking for is, how do we reject off of this? This is my main goal, my main target, right? So now I'm going to zoom into the 15-minute, skip over the hour. And what I notice, right, so I'm going to have to actually replay this a couple bars back. So coming into the open, right, I'm focused on two sets of liquidity. This minor buy side, this minor sell side, right? This is what I'm looking at. I want to see inside of this range, which one do we trade to, and how does price react, right? We can trade higher, take out this high like we did right here. But if price isn't showing me we want to go lower, I'm not just going to sit here and take shorts. We could take out this low, and then we could go lower, and I'm not just going to take longs because we took out this low. Price has to show me where are we going to go, right? So obviously, as market was getting closer and closer to being open, we were trading higher. So what I wanted to see after this buy side was swept was, what type of structure do we build to either take shorts or to take longs? Now, the first 30 minutes of the markets, 35 minutes, actually no, 30 minutes on the dot, because 10 a.m. is when we started actually having good price. The first 30 minutes of the market is where price started just doing nothing. There was no fair value gaps, nothing to take any structure. So I had to sit on my hands and really wait for price to show me something. So now I'm going to go ahead and zoom through this a little bit. And now you can see we finally built some structure, right? We take out this high, come internal, get an internal sweep of this high again. We put a 5-minute SIBI in, and now this is where things get really interesting, right? So now we're back inside of this 4-hour fair value gap, and I want to see, okay, do we hit this 5-minute SIBI, right? I was going to take a trade to mitigate this 5-minute, but I ended up just being hands off. There was nothing anyways to really take. I guess I could have taken this inverse here, but price wasn't all that pretty. And then I'm going to draw out the box to show you where that SIBI is on the lower time frame. So this low opacity blue square here is going to be that 5-minute, and I'm on the 1-minute, and you can see I usually just take the low end of the low. When it's a SIBI, I take the low of the fair value gap, and this inverse was literally, it would have been something like this, right? It would have been, we got an inverse here, that's the candle close, boom. And the safest risk would have been probably around the low end of this wick. It's just not worth it, right? So I'm like, all right, I'm going to stay hands off, see if we either inverse this fair value gap, which would make me start wanting to take longs and push back to that buy side liquidity, which is my drawn liquidity, or we build some 5-minute bearish structure in here, and then we get a sell off down to this minor sell side, and then we start working higher, right? Because I am still bullish, but it doesn't mean I have to take longs just because I'm bullish. So zooming into the 1-minute, we're going to go ahead and skip through, and we're going to notice some things, right? So we do end up trading higher, and then this is where my trade starts to form, right? So we ended up taking out this minor buy side, this minor buy side, and we end up getting some little tiny inversions, right? So this is where I'm looking to take a setup. Now, my entry model requires the highest time frame inversion starting from the 5-minute working down to the 1. I'm not going to even go here and show you all the time frames. There was only one on the 1-minute time frame, right? There's something else I forgot to include. On the higher time frame, we also had this bearish SMT, right? Which I think it was this high right there, or this high. One of these two highs, we had a bearish SMT, right? So we had the bearish SMT. So my confluence in my trade is building. It's getting higher and higher. We have higher time frame SMT. We're inside of this 5-minute fair value gap. We're running through all these BISIs here on the lower time frame, which is just fair value gaps. And all I'm waiting for is the inversion past this fair value gap. And this is where I get it, right? So I get my inversion right here at this fair value gap. I take a short. I do skew my risk a little bit just because I accidentally went in 8 contracts instead of 4, like I was wanting to, because I like to risk $300. And I'm targeting this minor sell side liquidity. So I'm risking above this SIBI here because this is basically the last thing I want to see price hold and really fight through, right? So I don't want to see price come up and play around this high. I don't want to see any of that, right? I personally want to see this order block hold, right? If it's the low end or consequent encroachment, right? Consequent encroachment, I'm going to give a little guesstimate, would be somewhere there, right? So I want to see price hold in this range. So this is where my setup started to look a little scary. I'm not even going to lie to you. I was a little, shaking my boots. But we're holding consequent encroachment pretty nicely of this order block. So now this is, again, where the trade gets a little interesting. And this is really where there's a lot of room for debate in my setup. And I kind of regret doing it. I kind of don't regret doing it. But anyways, we hit this order block and we trade lower, right? So at this time, we also put an SMT between this high and that high, right? So this is, we have another SMT, another form of manipulation that makes me want to take this trade. I'm going to take off this buy side liquidity real fast. Right, dude. Okay, I'll keep that one on. Obviously, that one wants to stay on. So now I'm paying attention to this low, right? This low right here, I want to go break even, but I don't want to go break even too soon because price is melting so slow. And I was like, all right, I want to give it some room to really displace through the low because ES was aligned anyways. It wasn't like ES was looking a little bit more bullish and like, no, the indices were aligning. So I wanted to see something like kind of attack this low and then I could go break even. And after that point, nothing matters. But we kept playing around my break even point. So I didn't want to go break even too early, which has happened before. And then I end up getting tagged out and then the trade goes all the way full TP. So price just takes out that low and then boom, this candle told me everything. I already knew from this candle we were cooked. I knew from this candle that we were cooked. So right after this, price just comes up, stops me out, and then we ended up working higher for the rest of the day. So I guess there's room for debate in this break even point. I guess I could have gone break even just because price was slowly melting. But you really can't predict this huge candle like this, right? This is not the reaction I wanted to see. This is like worst case scenario reaction, and that's what happened, right? This is gonna happen sometimes. I guess because I do have that 1 to 5, 1 to 2 risk to award to keep my win rate high. I do have to kind of take advantage of these break even moments, especially when price isn't looking clean or doing anything I expect it to. I definitely should do that, and especially when I'm trading against a higher time frame bias. So I did write in my journal that that's probably something I should have went break even for. But with that being said, that's the trade setup. Simple, easy, clean. What else can I do? So before I go ahead and call this a video, I'm just going to go ahead and show you guys the weekly charts. I am done for the week. I'm going to enjoy the rest of my break. And now I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what the week is looking like. All right, so this is TradeZella. This is my journaling platform, and this is basically what the week ended up looking like. So I ended up taking win 290, 332, 323, right? My 290 win, I guess I kind of like under leverage a little bit, which kind of makes my risk to award look bad. Usually, even though I have the 1-to-1, most of the time my win is bigger than my loss, but this week it just wasn't, and I'm fine with that. It happens sometimes. This loss was due to slippage, which happened yesterday. We rewatched that video if you want to see what happened, and then we had this trade today. So ended up on the week really 1 for 2. It's counting a break even loss that I lost $5 on. You can see right there I lost $5, so it's counting that, but really 33% on the week, lost 364. Profit factor below 1, which really isn't good. And then day to win percentage, obviously I went 1 for 2, when one day lost 2. So what can I say? What can I do? I just have to study, go over all the things that I flawed with this week, and come back stronger next week. So with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys have a good holiday, have a good break. See you guys in the next one. I do really like the setup. 5-minute mitigation. We left the lows down here. We have higher time frame SMT. ES and NQ were looking bearish. We had my inversion. Today the 1 minute was the highest time frame. I got that right 100%. But it's not looking bueno. And I messed my fill up because I accidentally whatchamacallit, accidentally added 4 more contracts. If we can start to run through this low, I'll go break. This one is obviously too close, so we could put an SMT in here like it looks like it might want to do, but I want to see if price will continue working lower. I can't really do much here. If we put an SMT and go higher, that's just what price wanted to do. All right, so we can go a little bit deeper than this, then I'll be okay with that. It's a little deeper. So if this candle starts to run down a little bit. All right. I don't want to be too fast with it. Obviously, I know this trade is difficult. Yeah, so price was done there. It didn't, I could have gone break even. I just didn't like it. I could have. What can I say? I could have. I didn't like it. I wanted a little bit more displacement than this. I was literally just about to do it too.